Donald Trump says abortion rights should be decided by individual U.S. states. That's right. He came out of the gates swinging after Donald Trump, or at least his team, leaked a possible federal abortion ban at, 12 weeks. He has now gone back on that and has come out with a different approach that I assume was a little bit of a test to see how the public would react. I guess they didn't like the reactions of the public, so now Trump is trying to hit this whole like states' rights for abortion argument again, which is really fucking stupid. But to be fair, there's not really anything he can do about it. He's just desperately trying to, massage the narrative as he has these two conflicting forces within the party, within the Republican Party. Two conflicting forces within the Republican Party. The 30% evangelical Protestant base that is like really excited about criminalizing abortion unconditionally. And then the rest of the fucking country that says that that is unhinged and insane. Everybody understands that obviously this is a deeply unpopular and undesirable agenda, and that everyone also knows that it is entirely the fault of the Republican Party, so they have no out for it. Let's take a look.
Donald Trump has said that abortion rights, expected to be a key issue in November's presidential election, should be decided by individual states. Mr. Trump said he was responsible for the 2022 Supreme Court decision ending a federal right to the procedure, adding that in his view, abortion was now where everybody wanted it to be from a legal standpoint.
This is also my favorite take because it's such a fucking stupid lie. It is such a funny and such a dumb fucking lie where he was like, every legal scholar wanted me to overturn Roe v. Wade. Every legal scholar from both sides, which absolutely not. Okay. All the way from every part of the Federalist Society. There's some woke ones in there, folks, and they all wanted it.
He didn't specify a gestational week at which he would ban abortion, but he said he supported exceptions for rape, incest, and to protect the life of the mother.
Many people have asked me what my position is on abortion and abortion rights, especially since I was proudly the person responsible for the ending of something that all legal scholars, both sides, wanted, and in fact...
That's so funny. All legal scholars, both sides, they all wanted it. Bro, he looks so fucking bad, by the way. God damn, son. What the fuck happened? He looks like he burnt a little too hard. God damn, dude. It's too much. It's way too much.
Demanded be ended. Roe v. Wade. They wanted it ended. It must be remembered that the Democrats are the radical ones on this position because they support abortion up to and even beyond the 9th month. The concept of having an abortion in the later months and even execution after birth, and that's exactly what it is. The baby is born, the baby is executed after birth, is unacceptable, and almost everyone agrees with that. My view is now that we have abortion where everybody wanted it from a legal...
They're killing the baby beyond abortion. Post-birth abortion, folks. It's called execution, but the Democrats call it post-birth abortion. It's like, no, that's called a murder. There's a different word for that. He's still running this line. It ain't gonna work, big dog. Okay? This whole idea of like hypothetically Democrats want to kill your children only works before you actually take legislative action. Once people take legislative action, everyone is going to hyper-focus on the action and the impact of said legislative action, right? Republicans can always get away with having incredibly cruel policy prescriptions as long as they don't actually act out on them. When we are living in the post-Roe v. Wade abolition or post-Roe v. Wade decision, overturning a Roe v. Wade, everybody understands what the fuck's going on. Everybody understands who's responsible for it. Okay? If you live in a red state, if you live in like Texas, for example, and you hear stories about mothers who are who wanted to have a third child, let's say, and they have an ectopic pregnancy, and they cannot, they do not have a viable fetus, and they can't get this life-saving medical procedure. Everybody sees that. Everybody recognizes exactly what's going on there, and nobody cares about, like, possibly the fact that Democrats want to execute babies or whatever. Okay? And when I say everybody, I'm incorporating Republicans into the equation as well. Because while many Republicans before the Roe v. Wade overturning would have possibly fantasized about, like, how far the Democrats were going, how far the Democratic Party was wanting to go with, like, forcible abortions for every woman or whatever, now they have to deal with the very likely reality that, like, their daughters might have to get an abortion, and they can't get an abortion now.
Standpoint, the states will determine by vote or legislation or perhaps both, and whatever they decide must be the law of the land. In this case, the law of the state. Many states
laugh as much as you want. Nobody really cares about women unless they think it will quite literally affect their close ones. No, for sure. That's precisely what I'm saying, as a matter of fact. Republicans did not care about this issue or cared about it in the opposite direction until it became a reality. And now they're recognizing, like, oh shit, maybe this wasn't a great idea. And by that, I mean people who historically voted Republican, let's say, white college educated voters in the suburbs that historically voted for the Republican Party, that never really considered how devastating it may be to shut off access to a medical procedure that is safe. It is a decision that should be left up to the doctor and the patient. Putting the state in between that all of a sudden made this theoretical reality a very real one that will impact them, their loved ones, possibly in the future or even now. The way they operate is, it doesn't matter to me unless it directly impacts me. Okay? That's why Dick Cheney was fine with LGBT rights to a certain degree, because his daughter is a lesbian. Oftentimes, when you have a loved one, when you're a Republican, you do not demonstrate the capacity for sympathy or empathy until it personally impacts you. Okay? There are plenty, depending on how stupid they are, that will still demonstrate cognitive dissonance. That's why you have a lot of second-generation Latino voters who vote Republican and advocate for staunch, strict, white nativist immigration policies, not realizing that they are the sons and daughters of undocumented migrants, for example. Okay? That's why you have a lot of, as long as you can mystify the impact of specific types of legislation, you will still have a lot of Republicans that vote for policies that hurt them. As long as there's a dream, for example, that you can massage into the minds of many Americans. What do I mean by this? Plenty of middle class and below working class Americans that vote for the Republican Party do so with the underlying assumption, okay, that they think they are going to make it, that they too will be millionaires one day. That's why they need the tax cuts. Okay? They don't realize that those tax cuts are not beneficial for them. Those tax cuts are beneficial for the wealthy, which they will never be. It is one of the most prescient takes of all time from the author of Grapes of Wrath. The idea that socialism will never work in America. I mean, he wrote about the Great Depression extensively. Joseph Steinbeck. The idea that socialism will never work in America because the working class in the United States of America do not see themselves as an exploited proletariat, but temporarily embarrassed millionaires. Anyway.
It will be different. Many will have a different number of weeks, or some will have more conservative than others, and that's what they will be. At the end of the day, this is all about the will of the people. You must follow your heart, or in many cases, your religion or your faith. Do what's right for your family and do what's right for yourself. Do what's right for your children. Do what's right for our country and vote. So important to vote. At the end of the day, it's all about...
This is kind of lame too, by the way. Just vote. Go out and vote. Folks, please go out and vote. Okay, bro. Okay, Democrat. Kind of sounding like Hillary Clinton a little bit, huh? What's happening there?
Will of the people. That's where we are right now, and that's what we want, the will of the people.
Well, Michael Scherer, national political reporter with The Washington Post, gave me his reaction.
Well, he's definitely been leaning in that direction for a number of months. There were a couple kerfuffles during the primary in which he said similar things about not wanting a federal ban, or his campaign did, about Republican voters needing to respect the will of the people. And then he would back off of that because he was in a Republican primary. This is really a political move. He's got an enormous headwind. And actually, Republicans running statewide for Senate have an enormous headwind. Abortion has really motivated Democratic voters. And he's trying to dampen down that issue. He knows it's something that really threatens to defeat him in November, and he's trying to take away the idea that as president he would push for a federal ban, even though during his term as president he did push for a 20-week ban, and members of his party are going to continue to push for a ban, and he's previously said he would work something out. This won't change what the Biden campaign's doing. They're going to spend $200-300 million on advertising, saying that the reason in a lot of these key swing states you no longer have the same access to abortion is President Trump and Roe, and probably surfacing some of his old comments in which he did call for basically a ban on abortion. I mean, at one point, and he took this back, he even called for prosecution of women who had abortions. So this doesn't take the issue off the table, but he's hoping it will reduce the severity of it for himself.
And I know it is very early because this statement has only just come out, but is it likely to...
So the reason why he's doing it's a states' rights issue is because he is trying to at least secure, win back some of the voters that he lost to the Democratic Party because of the abortion stuff in purple states. Because red states, they're they have their own they have their own perspective on the matter, and he's trying to say to the blue states, you can keep your abortion if you want it. He's trying to desperately massage out of this this devastating predicament for the future prospects of the Republican Party. This is something that I have brought up quite a bit as soon as Roe v. Wade was overturned, and this is at the heart of the Republican Party's major issue to begin with. It's one that transcends beyond Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a manifestation of it, though. He is a perfect human representation of this genuine problem, because Republicans have gotten so successful at meeting their agendas and genuinely pushing forward with their ideology that is oftentimes incredibly restrictive, that they are a victim to their own success. Yes, the dog caught the car, if you will. Dog chases the car, but what happens when the dog catches the car? You know what I mean? So there is a real problem within the Republican Party, and they are trying to desperately either move away from this issue, never really talk about it at all, or try to reframe the narrative that no, people wanted this. Actually, enough people actually wanted this. That's not the case. The overwhelming majority of Americans, as a matter of fact, did not want this. So much so that they fucking despise the Supreme Court because they recognize how undemocratic it is. This is not the will of the people at all. There will be political punishments. Those political punishments have come down already in the ineffective midterm election that happened for the Republican Party. They still obviously took over the They still obviously took over the House of Representatives, but even then, there's another party within the there's another issue within the House of Representatives, which is another Republican principle, the principle of obstruction, the perma-obstructionist attitude that many factions within the Republican Party are cooking their own agendas in some ways and making them look very stupid and in a state of disarray permanently. That's why you had the speaker drama that occurred. That's why Mike Johnson personally is still experiencing some of those issues as well, given the way that the Republican Party is structured. Hard to win those voters back when their middle-class kids can't even buy Plan B safely over the counter? Yes.
Reduce opposition from potential supporters?
So I think it's a complicated question. I don't think we know the answer. There is going to be some backlash from the right, from his conservative evangelical supporters who have long supported federal
I don't think there will be. I'm going to be honest. I don't think there will be a major backlash from the evangelicals. I think they're like pretty happy.
Legislation restricting abortion. He's basically ruling that out here. He has previously supported federal legislation. Now, whether those people stay home or vote third party is an open question. They probably don't. I don't think this has, it's a matter of degree. It doesn't change completely the conversation. If you look at a lot of the states where this presidential election is going to be decided, Georgia, North Carolina, Michigan, Wisconsin, Arizona, abortion is very much a live issue on the state level. The only reason it's a live issue on the state level is that Roe v. Wade was overturned, and President Trump is claiming credit for overturning Roe v. Wade. So it doesn't take him out of the conversation about abortion. And I think Biden will be able to go to voters and say, look, the reason you're concerned that you or your daughter or your wife are going to have trouble getting abortion access right now is that President Trump did this, and President Biden is running on a platform of restoring Roe v. Wade on the federal level.